Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today's video is going to be all about products that I think are overhyped. Now, I'm going to mention, actually most of the products I'm going to mention in this video, I think that they're overhyped, but that doesn't mean that I think that they're bad products. I still think they have good formulas and that maybe you guys would like these products if you tried them. I just think that I don't know if they're worth the hype that they were getting before I bought them, you know? So that's what today's video is going to be about. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright, you guys, I feel like this first one is going to spark some debate in the comments because these cheek products were so raved about. I feel like was it last year? I don't know, whenever they first came out, but these are the Cover FX cheek products. I have the blush in Soft Peach and the bronzer in Sun-Kissed Bronze. This is the lighter of the two shades. So these both have a matte shade. These both have a matte side and a shimmery side, and I personally really love that in a blush and a bronzer. I'm very much into like the luminous dewy cheek look right now, so I really love that they had a matte and a shimmery side. But when these came out, people were losing their minds over them. Oh my goodness, I feel like everyone was raving about them. Soft Peach, this shade right here, was like the most sought after shade. I grabbed both of these in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale in the spring of this year. So I got these for a pretty steeply discounted price. I think I paid like less than 15 bucks for each of them, which is a pretty good price for Cover FX blushes. I like them. I don't think they're bad. I think that the bronzer blends out nicely on my cheeks. I do think it's a little bit deep for me, but I just use a light hand to make it work. And I do think that the blush is absolutely beautiful, but at the end of the day, are they life-changing? No. They're good powder blushes, and if you guys are really attracted to one of these shades and you don't mind paying I think these are like 30 bucks or something ridiculous like that. If you have cash burning a hole in your pocket and these are what you desperately want, I think they're nice blushes. I don't think you're going to be super disappointed, but are they going to change your life and like give you flawless doll skin? No. So I think these are just a little bit overhyped for what they are, you know? Okay, you guys, next up we have a product that is actually a part of my everyday routine, but kind of only by default because I don't have any other ones at the moment. And that is the Beauty Bakery Flour Powder. So I actually received this in a giveaway from Beauty Bakery, I think maybe like 2 years ago at this point, and it kind of just sat in my collection for a while because I kept trying it and expecting it to fall in love with it because I feel like so many people just love this powder, and I would just use it and I would just be kind of underwhelmed, and that's still kind of how I'm feeling about it today. Is it a bad powder? No. Is it a magical powder that smooths out my face and looks like there's no product on my face and gives me like doll skin? Also no. Like, it's an okay powder, but also I could have bought this powder at the drugstore. I would never ever purchase this at full price. It's just, I don't know, I feel like the older I get and the more I really dig into my own collection, I feel like I'm getting more and more picky with makeup. Whereas I feel like maybe when I was bringing more stuff in, I would like try it for a little bit and be like, yeah, this is decent, I like it. I feel like I'm really getting to know these products, getting to know my preferences, and some things are just not up to snuff anymore, and this is one of those products. Again, I said I'm using it because it's the only powder I currently have in my collection, well, the only loose powder I currently have in my collection. It's almost done. I've got like just a little tiny bit left, but I don't think I would like wholeheartedly recommend this or repurchase it, you know? Ugh. This next one, I feel like some people might come after me with like torches and pitchforks for this next one, but I think that the Kosas Color and Light duos are kind of overhyped, and I know that I was one of those people who's raving about them earlier this year. I like these products, and I wouldn't say that I regret purchasing them, especially because they kind of introduced me to the cream product world, and it's just been so much fun exploring cream cheek products, and I have found so many favorites. But I don't know if these are like the gold standard for me, especially for the price tag. I want to say that these are like $30-ish as well. Again, I got them on sale. I think I got mine for $20. I bought them in the spring as I bought a lot of makeup in the spring because I was stress shopping. But I just don't know if these are really worth the price tag. I think that they are pretty colors, and I do like that Kosas has like a light and a dark option for each shade variety that they have. This shade right here is called Tropic Equinox. This shade is 8th Muse. Are they beautiful? Yes. But I don't think they're my ideal cream blush, and honestly I feel like my $6 e.l.f. cream blush palette really beats these out. I really strongly prefer the blushes over the highlighters. I feel like the highlighters are what really like brings this duo down for me. They're pretty highlighters, but I feel like I can't lightly set them with powder and like still get that glow. I feel like they're more of a, I don't want to say oily, but like it's the creaminess of them that's really reflecting. There's no like actual pigment in there, and I do like to set down my cream products just like with a very minimal amount of powder. But I just feel like they sit kind of funny on the skin. When I apply them right here on my cheekbones, I get this weird separation thing between like the highlighter and my concealer, and it just looks really funky, and I haven't figured out in the like 6 months that I've owned them how to combat that. So I just feel like these, while they're good and while they're pretty, I don't know if they're worth the 35 bucks and all the hype surrounding them, you know? The last two products I wanted to talk about today are actually both eyeshadow palettes, which is really weird for me because I feel like, not that I'm easy to please when it comes to eyeshadow, but I feel like I just love all eyeshadows. I feel like I can be a little bit easier to please with eyeshadow, but I feel like that's really changed over the past year and a half now that I've really taken a deep dive into the indie world and I know how good eyeshadow can truly be. I really feel that indie shadow is better than almost every mainstream eyeshadow on the market. But anyways, the first product that I wanted to talk about is an oldie, but it's the Milano Pure Passions palette. I remember when this palette launched, I felt like everyone was raving about it, how the Milano formula was so good. And at first, when I tried it, I was like, yeah, I really enjoy this formula. I think it's great. It's nicely pigmented. It blends out easily. Coming back to this palette this year, and I'm like on the verge of decluttering it. I feel like while the mattes are really pretty and they are easy to work with, they can almost be blended away to nothing, which if that's your personal preference, this might be a shadow formula that you like. But for me, that's really not my personal preference. I do like a nicely pigmented matte. When I put it there, I want it to stay there. And I really just feel like the shimmers are A, kind of lackluster, and B, they crease so terribly on me, you guys. I have so many creasing issues with this palette. I don't know if it's because I'm like, I mean, I'm only 21, so I'm like slightly getting older, but I can already notice like some extra creases on my eyelid, and I don't know if that's contributing to it. I don't know if it's the eye primer that I'm using, but whatever I have done, when I have this palette with all the eye primers in my collection, all of that, I can't get it to stop creasing and last on my lids all day. So I just feel like the Milano eyeshadow formula it's not really worth the hype in my opinion. Okay, the next eyeshadow formula, and this is a bit of a generalization because I haven't tried every single palette from this brand or Milano, of course. But the next eyeshadow palette formula that I was a little bit let down by is the e.l.f. eyeshadow formula. So I'm trying to think. I think I tried e.l.f. shadows like years and years ago when I first started out with makeup. I think I had like one of those little cheap, remember how they had like those book palettes where they would like open like a book, it was like a little shadow book and the shadows were like itty bitty. I had one of those, and when I first was getting into makeup I was like, yeah, this is great, but like of course I didn't know anything about eyeshadow or eyeshadow formulas, so it was really kind of garbage. And so then knowing that, as I was kind of experimenting with different products and different formulas, I kind of realized that the e.l.f. formula is not my favorite, so I've taken quite a step back from them over the past couple of years. But their eyeshadow palettes, specifically they're bigger, I think these are 16 pan eyeshadow palettes. No, these are 18 pan, not 16 pans. Especially with their 18 pan eyeshadow palettes, I feel like these have been getting a lot of hype and a lot of, you know, just like good feedback. I've been hearing people say that the eyeshadow palette formula is fantastic. So finally this year I took the plunge, and initially I took the plunge with the e.l.f. XJS palette to the rescue. This was already like a total impulse buy. I had this moment of panic because with her first palette I adored the color story and I just hemmed and hawed for far too long, and it sold out and then it was gone forever, and then I didn't get my palette. So when this one came out I hopped on it right away, and I kind of regret it a little bit. I haven't really decided if this is truly a regret purchase of 2020, but you guys will see that video on my channel in December. But anyways, back to this palette. I don't think that it's a horrible formula, but I don't know if it's a formula that I truly love. You know? Like, it's not bad. The mattes are nicely pigmented. They blend out nicely. The shimmer formula is kind of funky. Some of these are more like sheer toppery shimmers, while others are like thicker, more pigmented shimmers, but they're not quite as metallic. I was not in love with it, but I was like, you know what, maybe it's this color story. It's a rainbow color story, which is pretty, but I don't know, I don't really reach for rainbow palettes anymore. I would rather have a curated colorful color story, you know? So I was like, okay, I don't hate this palette, but I also don't love it, so maybe I should give another one a try. And then so I tried the e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. This one was a bit of an no, this was totally an impulse buy. I was in Target one day. I ran in to get something else, and I like saw this palette, and I was like literally stopped in my tracks. I was so obsessed with how it looked. And I did truly enjoy this palette, but again, the formula, it's like not my favorite eyeshadow formula. It's easy to work with. These shadows are like nicely pigmented. I feel like they're like mediumly pigmented, moderately pigmented. That's the word I'm looking for. They're like moderately pigmented. The shimmers are definitely lackluster in my opinion. I feel like they just don't have enough oomph for me. I do like the mattes, but again, they can blend away if you blend it too much. So I just feel like while it's good, it's not great. And for me to really wholeheartedly recommend this to you guys, or say that it's like one of my favorite formulas, I need it to be great. So these ones were a bit of a letdown for me, but I think that's gonna wrap up today's video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. I don't know if I've ever done a products that aren't worth the hype video, but I've seen plenty of other people do it. But this is a pretty popular series on YouTube, so I thought, you know what, let's give it a shot. Let me know if you guys have any other like unpopular makeup opinions or products that you think aren't worth the hype. I would love to do an unpopular makeup opinions video. Maybe I'll add that to my filming list for December. But that's gonna wrap it up for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!